He's loud, he's angry, he's ready to swing at anything that moves. But there's a lot more to Action than just the yelling. Hey everyone, welcome to West Side Tragedy, where we deep dive into the characters, conflict, and heartbreak of West Side Story. I'm Suits, and today we're starting off with the bang, looking at the one jet who can never still. Action.
Cut it, Action. Unwind, Action.
Finish it. Cool it, Action.
We gotta show Moose.
Easy, Action.
Let's break down who he is, why he's so angry, and why he just may be one of the most important voices in the gang. Now, we already know that he's a member of the Jets, an American street gang. He's in rivalry with the Sharks. Though he is a supporting character, Action's temperament, violent tendencies, and loyalty to the gang do reveal deeper truths about identity and the nature of violence. He may not be a lead or a central figure in the musical, but his character does give voice to the emotions within the Jets and embodies toxic environment and hostility that drives the conflict in the story. Now let's get into personality and role in the story. Action is best known for his explosive temper. His name itself is a reflection of his impulsive nature. He's quick to anger and often the first jet to escalate a conflict or respond to threats with violence. While this makes him unpredictable and dangerous, it also makes him a product of his environment. A boy who has learned that survival depends on dominance and power and intimidation. But Action is not just aggressive, he's also very loyal. His devotion to the Jets is unwavering. He views the gang as family, and his behavior is partly from desperate need to control and desperate need for protection in a world that offers him neither. In a society where inequality and poverty and broken homes are a part of the Jets' daily reality, the gang becomes his only sense of identity and belonging. His aggression is a shield against vulnerability he can't afford to show. In fact, the song Cool
Just play it cool, boy.
is partly from Action's need to get revenge on the man who killed Riff.
They're gonna pay. So why don't we finish it?
Now, about masculinity and vulnerability. Action represents a masculine ideal that dominates the world of the Jets. Strength, dominance, fearlessness, and emotional repression. He lashes out when he feels vulnerable or when his authority is questioned.
When you was my age, when my old man was my age, my brother was my age, you was never my age, none of you. And the sooner you creeps get hip to that, the sooner you'll dig us.
In this way, he is both a participant and a victim of toxic culture that does glorify violence. There are moments, subtle but telling, when Action's emotional depth break through. In G Officer Krupke, he does take place in the song and does play along with the Jets.
You!
Who, me?
Oops.
On the other end of the emotional spectrum, his raw reactions to the death of Riff
They're gonna pay. Them stinking Sharks. Dirty fighting. They started it. So why don't we finish it?
Cool it, Action.
We gotta show who's on top.
and later Tony reveal that his anger is not just rage, but grief without a safe outlet. He doesn't know how to process loss except through retaliation. The failure of emotional expression highlights a core tragedy of the Jets. Boys are not allowed to mourn, or cry, or be afraid. They can only fight.
What's the matter? You scared?
Who you calling scared?
Hey, off of him. On your own business.
Now moving on to social and cultural context. Action's behavior cannot be separated from the larger socio-political climate of 1950s New York. As a white working-class youth, he's part of a group that feels displaced and threatened by changing demographics, specifically the rise of Puerto Rican immigration. His anger is often racialized, and though the film critiques his prejudice, it also portrays how people like Action inherit and absorb hate as a survival instinct. He's not purposely hateful. He's taught to fear the loss of status, taught that his worth comes from winning fights. The Jet vs. Shark rivalry is more than just a street war. It's a symbol of a deep social fracture, and Action is its most reactive product. Now let's talk about the function of Action in the movie. Though he's not a protagonist, he does play a key narrative role. He amplifies the violence of the Jets and the importance of finishing fights.
They started it. So why don't we finish it?
He challenges authority, rejecting the cops' presence and mocking attempts at peace.
If you don't leave us stay out in the streets all night, we're liable to turn into a bunch of juvenile delinquents. Hey! You forgot to say goodbye.
He acts as a foil to characters like Tony, who seek to escape from violence. Action's descent into rage after Riff's death makes clear that he's the kind of person who will never be able to break the cycle. Where Tony dreams of love, peace, and freedom, Action fully commits to the war. In this way, Action serves as a tragic warning, a reminder of what happens when people are denied compassion and given only rage. Now let's go back and talk about his personality. He is impulsive and reactive. Action does live up to his name as an act first, think later kind of person. His responses are fast, heated, and usually physical. He's the first to escalate a conflict and the last to back down. Determined to finish what was started, he does speak loudly and often interrupts. But beneath that is a deeper impulse. He lashes out because he doesn't know how else to cope. His anger masks his vulnerability. Now let's talk about his movement, presence, body language. Action moves with a quick, reactive energy. He's like a coiled up spring and he's never fully relaxed. He paces when angry, leans forward when confronting someone, and gets in people's faces to make a point. His movements aren't just confidence, it's survival. He needs people to see his danger before they test him. Now let's talk about the contradictions with Action. I'm gonna have the grid up for you guys to see. So, first trait is temper. That shows as explosive and violent. Beneath that is mourning, fear, and helplessness. Now this goes back to Riff's death, Tony's death, all that. Even his own grief with his past and everything, why he ended up in the gang. That's all gathering up into violence and explosiveness. Now we have loyalty, which means gang first, and very defensive. When Riff dies, and they're in that little alleyway, Action says he wants to get that revenge. And this is when I start singing that whole song meant for him.
It's when they start asking about tonight. You play it cool. You want to live in this lousy world? Play it cool.
I want to get even.
Get cool. I want to bust cool.
I want to go
cool.
But beneath that loyalty is a desperate need for family and belonging. To prove himself worthy of belonging in the Jets, to prove himself worthy of a family. Now we have confidence, which can show up as cocky, confrontational, all that. Beneath that is insecurity and feeling misunderstood. He's not this, keg, this explosive powder keg. He doesn't want to just be angry all the time. It's just bottled up. So that's where he probably feels misunderstood at. Now we have masculinity. Tough, dominant, all that. Rough, fighting, confidence. But all that is to cover up his fear of showing softness. And now, love language. Fists, yelling. Not much to say except those two. But he does use that for protection and devotion, silent presence. He cared so much about Riff to where he wants to go and finish off whoever killed him, you know? Now, as we wrap up this video, to conclude, Action is a minor character with a major impact emotionally. He represents the most unfiltered expression and emotion of the Jets' pain and loss. Though his behavior is often violent and cruel, it comes from a place of deep vulnerability. Deep down, he's a boy trying to feel powerful in a world that constantly strips him of power.